Hi everybody, just a continuation with our 5-part series on the golf fundamentals. We've already talked about the grip, the left-hand grip and the right-hand grip, and how the grips intertwine and our hands are used together on the golf club. The next thing we'll talk about is the proper stance of the golf swing. What we'll do is we'll start actually from the ground up, and we'll incorporate everything from our feet to our head and everything in between. We'll talk a little bit about some posture as well as how the ball position also is incorporated into the fundamentals. So the first thing we'll do is let's actually look at our ground here, at our feet. We've got a tee set up here to make it a little bit easier to see what's going on. With the stance, what we like to do is set up with our feet about shoulder width apart in an athletic position. And I like to place the ball with the short iron. This is a 7-iron. So I'll place this ball right in the center of my stance. So when I set up my feet about shoulder width apart, what I'm trying to do is make sure that the back of the ball is right in the center. As far as my weight transfer, what I like to do is keep my weight fairly balanced right in the center of my feet, as well as, and that's not just left and right, but also in the depth of my foot as well, right on the heel. Or not on the heel, I'm sorry, in between the toe and the heel. So as I set up, I will also then go to my knees. I'll have a slight knee bend, not a whole lot, not a lot of flex. If I turn this way for you to see it, I just have a little bit of knee flex. I'm not locked straight, which one of the common things we'll see is a lot of people bend over like this, or they'll bend their knees too much and stand like this. So we like to have just a little bit of knee flex. Then we go up to our hips. When we get to our hips, we like to keep everything square with my foot line. So if I go back to this orange stick right here, I've got my feet square, my knees square, then I go to my hip line and I want that to be square. As long as I keep my hip line square, that rotates up and comes up into my shoulders. So a lot of times the common thing that we'll see as far as, especially with the driver, if we have the ball positioned farther forward, we'll see a lot of people reach up for that golf ball and those shoulders are wide open. So we like to keep the shoulders square. Shoulders are square to our hip line, our knees, and our feet. So again, ball in the center. The next part, once we get past our shoulders, is the head. A common thing that we hear, a lot of amateur golfers talking to each other, keep your head down. That actually couldn't be further from the truth. A lot of times what we see is people start with their head down, and during the entire golf swing, their head is just absolutely buried. And what that does is really affects posture a lot. A lot of times people kind of hunch their back over instead of keeping their back on a nice plane. The things I like to do is I don't want my back to be locked and perfectly straight. I keep it just nice and stiff, I guess is a good way of calling it. Just kind of straightened out, but not locked in place. So going back to recap everything, one of the things we like to do is have our feet about shoulder width apart. And for those seniors out there, for anybody that's a little older, we like to actually have our toes pointed out just a little bit. What that allows you to do is get a little bit better rotation, a little bit more turn. So again, we've got ball, center of our stance, feet about shoulder width apart, knees slightly flexed and square to our target line, hips aligned with our knees, shoulders aligned with our hips, our knees, and our feet. And that allows us to make a good rotation, keeping our head still without keeping our head down. If you have any questions, just let us know.